Just think about this, man. Kelsey Mitchell scored 23 points. She played 27 minutes. She was 2 of 2 from free throws. She had 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, and 0 blocks. The 0 assists, bro. That many minutes, no assists. There's nobody else on this fucking team that played over 20 minutes that do not have any assists.
Following the Indiana Fever's win over the LA Sparks of
The postgame podium produced some notable moments, most of them centered Kelsey Mitchell's performance and Kelsey Plum's candid assessment of where her team stands. Mitchell's stat line from the night is what most of the post-game conversation is built around. She scored 23 points in 27,
shot reasonably well,
and was clearly a focal point of the Fever's offensive game plan. But the number drawing attention is not in the scoring column. Mitchell finished with
0 assists, 0 rebounds, and 2 turnovers.
We can go down here. We can, come on, bro. She ain't got no assist, bro. None whatsoever. Make it make sense. They truly trying to sabotage Caitlin Clark right before our eyes. I feel like that's why Caitlin Clark cannot get in the rhythm, bro. It's clear as day they're playing. I just have to be honest.
No player in the game who logged more than 20 minutes came away without a single assist. Except her. The ball was fed to her repeatedly.
possessions were built around her,
and nothing came back out to teammates. For those who feel the offense is being structured in a way that limits Caitlin Clark's ability to find her rhythm, that stat line is difficult to ignore. On the Sparks side,
Kelsey Plum addressed the media with the kind of directness she is known for, when asked about the team's offensive struggles, specifically that they
missed their final 13 three-point attempts and only attempted 15 threes total. Plum did not deflect.
I just have to be honest. They're playing a lot of games with the Indiana Fever basketball team. Now, let's take a second to listen to Kelsey Plum and listen to this press conference.
A defensive-minded player, so I feel like that's what gets me going. If I'm super locked in and just loud and talking our defense, I feel like I can fuel the team. But yeah, I'm really proud of the way we fought back today, and we're going to be better.
That's great to see Cameron Brink up there. It is.
Lynn, I just wanted to ask about the offense. You guys missed your final 13 threes.
Acknowledged the number itself was the problem, saying, the team needs to be shooting more than that. In a spaced-out offensive system, the inability to generate and convert open three-point looks is a core issue. She pointed to timing, spacing, and players not getting shots in their preferred spots as contributing factors,
and called it a work in progress. Plum also spoke to what drives her own performance, crediting her defensive intensity as the engine that gets everything else going. She was upbeat about the team's ability to fight back in the game and
expressed confidence in the roster's potential to grow.
About the offense. You guys missed your final 13 threes on the night. Do you feel that the offense is getting the right shots that you would like it to get, or do you feel like the players are pressing, or is it just, make or miss type of night for the first 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a work in progress on that side. The concerning thing is, we only took 15. That means we're not. I need to watch the film to see why. So I don't know, but we need to be shooting more.
one of her teammates, who had a strong second-half scoring performance after a slow start to the season,
was asked about her confidence level. Before she could frame herself as someone still finding her footing,
Plum jumped in and corrected the narrative directly, pointing out that 2 games into the season, after a strong showing is not a slow start, and that the storyline needed to stop there. When the topic of spacing came up again during a separate question, Plum was consistent.
She noted the team has historically been effective through cutting actions, which generate high-percentage catch-and-shoot opportunities. Those cuts have not been happening at the right frequency, and the result is a lot of forced or rushed attempts from the perimeter.
So I don't know, but we need to be shooting more than that. But yeah, I mean, in a spaced out offense, we've got to be able to knock down more threes than that. And maybe we're a little rushed, or they're not getting them in the spots they're used to. It's a work in progress.
Second row left side, Edwin.
Coach, Era, I think, was ruled out after something in the third quarter. Can you talk about what happened and what her status is currently?
Yeah, she got clocked.
Her plan was simple. Go back to the film, identify the missed windows, and correct the decisions on the broader question of how this group compares to the process of building chemistry last season with new personnel. Plum emphasized starting fresh, different players, different dynamics, and 6 months of individual development in the offseason means the team is not the same unit it was 12 months ago. The message was to trust what is being built rather than measure it against a different year's timeline. The Sparks also dealt with an injury situation during the game.
Yeah, she got clocked by an elbow. No call, no review, nothing. So she's out.
Mike Howard over here.
Mike Hill, Matthew Alex Sparks Weeklies for UCAM. It seemed like after you got the big block early on, a lot of things started to roll for you. Really strong moves there in the second half, scoring. Just on the offensive side of things, where's your confidence level at after coach at the beginning for the game said you got a really good practice? So where's your confidence level on that side of the ball?
I mean, you always got to be confident.
A player was hit by an elbow with no foul called and no review initiated, which removed her from the contest. The Fever's turnover count, 16 on the night, was flagged as an ongoing concern. Los Angeles had 19 of their own. Indiana shot 50% from the field and 87% from the free throw line. 5. And controlled the glass by a margin of 7 rebounds. The win was real, but the structural questions around how the offense is being distributed are not going away.
So where's your confidence level on that side of the ball?
I mean, you always got to be confident, right? My teammates aren't going to trust me if I don't believe in myself. The coaches, same thing. So, I've had a slow start, but I'm putting in the work. The coaches, they work with me every day. They watch film, shooting extra. I'm trying to work as hard as KP over here. So yeah, I'm just going to keep growing.
She didn't have a slow start. We played 2 games, and she had a great game today. So the narrative of what's going on with Kim? Nothing. She's doing great. So we got to stop the narrative.
3 games are coming in quick succession for both teams, with limited practice time in between. For Indiana, the challenge is whether the patterns that frustrated Clark's ability to operate within the flow of the offense get addressed before the schedule. I-5 tightens further. The ratings are in for the Paige Bueckers versus Caitlin Clark matchup that aired Saturday on ABC, and the numbers tell a complicated story. 7 million that tuned in for last year's corresponding Fever Sky game on the same network, which at the time set a record as the most watched WNBA broadcast across ESPN platforms in 25 years.
Marissa on the left side.
And just on defense, in the first half, I think they shot 60% against you guys, or in the second quarter at least. It seemed to get a little bit better in the second half. How do you kind of just evaluate where the defense is at?
I mean, we won the second half. We just had a really bad second quarter, offensively and defensively. A little bit in the first half, I thought we came out a little reactive versus, reading.
15 million, a surprisingly strong number on its own. There's an important piece of context. 5. However, Nielsen updated its viewer measurement methodology last year, and that change inflated numbers across all of sports by roughly 10%. That means a direct comparison between this year's figures and last year's is. The two sets of data aren't being collected the same way.
By about 10%. Jacked up about 10%. Okay? And so when you look at these ratings, and then you look at last year's ratings, which did not use the new method, you go, oh, so you lost 400, 500,000 viewers from last year. Well, it's my understanding that Paige Becker.
When that adjustment is factored in, the actual drop in viewership is closer to 400,000, 500,000 compared to the prior year.
Not the 200,000 the raw numbers suggest. Several outlets reported the decline without acknowledging the methodology shift at all. What makes that drop
harder to dismiss is the circumstances around it. This was Clark's first regular season appearance after an extended absence.
The kind of return event that typically generates a spike in curiosity and casual viewership.
Paige Becker's is a massive draw, right? Guys, the Indiana Fever, there's no way that the franchise in the league cannot see what's happening in front of them right now. Resale tickets. People are not paying up for these tickets anymore. The Indiana Fever running promotions, trying to get people to buy tickets, all of this stuff. None of
the fact that numbers still came in lower than the year before, under those conditions, points to something beyond simple audience fatigue. Meanwhile, a Toronto Tempo game recently crossed 1 million viewers in a country of 41 million people. Smarkiet of 370 million
is difficult to frame positively for the league's flagship draw.
Indiana Fever running promotions, trying to get people to buy tickets, all of this stuff. None of this was needed prior to the mess surrounding Caitlin Clark's injury last year. And then the mess around the injuries this year. And all of us giving the one-ass eye to the franchise because, frankly, I don't believe Caitlin Clark's not hurt. I don't believe that. And I'm not going to come on this channel and gaslight y'all and act like everything's fine.
The Indiana Fever front office released an injury report ahead of their next contest, listing no injuries across the roster. That announcement was met with widespread skepticism from the fan base, and understandably so. Last season featured roughly 12 weeks of day-to-day designations.
5. Last-minute status changes.
And a general pattern of unreliable health communication that eroded trust considerably. Fans on social media were quick to reference that history, with comments ranging from cautious disbelief to outright dismissal of the report's credibility.
Gaslight y'all and act like everything's fine. That's not fair to you guys. Seriously. So let's look at this right here. Source tells me Saturday's game between the Fever and the Wings averaged 2.49 million on ABC. That's over-the-air free antenna, ABC, three-letter network, one of the originals. That's slightly down from last year's corresponding Fever Sky game for the W's ABC opener.
The conversation around back braces, minute restrictions, and the team's broader injury management approach has not gone away.
And a clean bill of health the morning of a game carries far less weight than it otherwise would, given that track record. The broader question hovering
5 over the franchise is whether the front office can rebuild credibility with a fan base that has grown accustomed to being misled, or at the very
least, kept in the dark. Ticket resale prices have softened. Promotional offers have started appearing to fill seats.
And ratings are slipping, even during marquee moments. None of those trends were present before the injury issues and organizational opacity of the past. calendar year began compounding.
ABC opener, which drew 2.7 million. Keep in mind, Fever's Sky Game set a record for most viewed WNBA game across ESPN networks and was the most viewed WNBA game in 25 years, since the era when NBC aired the WNBA. Suns Mercury averaged 1.15 million. That's shockingly high, in my opinion. Well, that's shockingly high, in my opinion. Well, I would say that's concerning. All right. Now, they're trying to do the media spin thing, right? Because the WNBA media or anybody that covers it's not allowed to criticize. But they're trying to spin this. He didn't one time mention the new rating system that's changed since last year. Some outlets, even front office sports, will bring that sort of thing up. Even front office sports will bring that sort of thing up. That when you combine the new method of rating viewers, collecting viewers, calculating viewers, with the fact that right off the bat it's down 200,000 viewers, you got a viewership that's down 400,000 or 500,000 viewers versus last year. No alarm bells going off. Also keep this in mind. Also keep this in mind. This was the first regular season game Caitlin Clark had played in how long? Now you're getting it. She hadn't played in how long? And the viewership's down 400,000 or 500,000 viewers? That's not people being disinterested in